Both these teams have let everything out on the diamond here today. They have played with their hearts. They played with their brains. More importantly, they've played with the bats, as both teams have produced high offensive clips, especially in the second half of this game. Coming in now for the Mount All Trojans on the mound will be number 33, Matt Poole. He has a 3.37 ERA with a 1.88 whip. This is his fourth appearance out of the pen for the Trojans this season. He has thrown a combined 2 2/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 4 hits and suffered 1 earned run against them. But the big number is 4 strikeouts. He's one of those guys for Rob Watt that can come in and get strikeouts when needed. Can he do so here today? We're just trying to figure out some of the defensive changes out on the field as well. We'll give those to you in a second. But coming up to the plate for Emmanuel, looks like it will be the top of the order, Jesus Cruz, who was hit by a pitch his last time up. And, well, Alex, what do we got here defensively?
Yeah, just kind of how I drew it up, or kind of predicted what Rob Watt was anticipating by going to the pinch hit move, which obviously benefited the Trojans massively with that triple from Garrett Moffitt. Moffitt goes to first. John Howard moves back to third, so kind of similar to what we saw in Game 2. Connor Tepetti, though, the big shocker behind the plate. They didn't want to give up the DH spot. They could have probably moved Kenny to that spot, but they decided to give Tepetti the chance there to see what he can do. Number 22 down there, the catcher. Bats left, throws right. The freshman, 6', 205 from Southern Pines, North Carolina. So a big moment for him, too, because, I mean, he's in a pressure-packed game where he has to be defensively sharp.
1-1 count here at Matt Poole. Sees this one down the first base line. It gets through underneath the glove of Moffett. And, oh, no, going to go all the way to third here is Cruz. Jakari Howard was slow to get over to it as the ball just continued to go all the way to the corner. And the Emmanuel Lions, well, that's a pretty good start here in the 9th after surrendering 2 in the 8th.
That was 3 all the way.
Yeah.
All the way, Michael. The way it went down the line, the way it basically went into the right-hand corner out there. I mean, that was a 3-bagger any day of the week. If it was down the left field line, maybe a different story. But that ball, easy, and with the speed of Cruz, too. This is a tough part of the lineup. And, Matt Poole has been tasked to deal with it, as the Trojans have kind of used a good chunk of their arms. Hopefully he can settle in here and deal.
As the first triple of the season for the leadoff man, Jesus Cruz, in 3:49 coming into today, and he's had himself a day as well. He walked and then was out a couple of times, hit by a pitch. Now the triple down the first base line, and we're going to see Wolin step in. Get a 2-run RBI single up the middle, just like that the last time, and he will come in to score. And the Emmanuel Lions have jumped on the lead 7-6 here in the top of the 9th.
That felt like it happened very quick there, Michael. They played the infield in because obviously they wanted to be prepared for a play at the plate. Ball hit sharply enough, and there's just not a lot you can do. We're going to get a pinch runner there over at first base. It's going to be number 9, Cole Beach. And he's got to step in there, the outfielder, the senior. He's got to step into the game there. So a change there. Trying to put the best case scenario on there. They have the 1-run lead. Obviously, they don't feel too safe with that. They know what they're facing, 3, 4, 5 for the Trojans in the bottom half, but the Trojans got to limit the damage now back into their deficit.
This ball off the end of the bat, going to squiggle forward, calling it off to Petty, throws it to first in time. Good fielding there from the freshman, stepping up to the task. Wasn't sure if it was going to be Poole or himself getting to it, and he calls it off well.
Good job there by Connor Tepetti, and it's a tough spot to be in. And, stepping in, calling it off there, making the play on it. Obviously, not the most speed going down the line there in Mo Chris. That's a huge out for Matt Poole, and to get it over there. So, in those certain circumstances where you make changes in your field, the ball's just got to find a way towards him. Garrett Moffitt gets one hit down the line on him, and, it was snared. There's no chance. Perfectly placed hit by Cruz, and then, Tepetti called in to play right off the bat to make a crucial out there.
0-1 the count, runner at second, 1 out. This one's sailing up high. So the senior on the mound with the freshman catcher. And correct me if I'm wrong here, Alex. I'm pretty sure this is the first time that Tepetti has caught Poole all season. I'm sure they probably don't practice too much together either. And with that sense, this is a relationship that needs to be vital here in the 9th inning. 1 run has already come through.
Yeah, it's only his 3rd game of the year. He did play a little bit against Georgia College. He had 1 for 2. He's 1 for 2 on the season, so he hasn't seen a whole lot of game time. This is only his 3rd game, but it's sure a moment that through practice and time that Coach Rob Watt clearly thinks he's ready for to handle. He did a great job down there. We'll just see how the inning progresses.
2-1, a good block in front of him to keep it that way, as it's now 3-1 on the board. So if you're the Trojans, you've already surrendered one. You'd really like to keep it at that one-run game, as you're already being forced in the bottom of the ninth to come up with a run. But Trojan baseball have had a lot of heroics throughout the years. We'll just see how this one plays out as the 3-1, now a high strike, full count.
And hats off to Emanuelle. It's timely hitting that's finally come through for them, and that's what they've been struggling with most in games 2 and 3, or 1 and 2, is they just haven't gotten the hits when they needed to, and with runners on, and they finally capitalized. And a big strikeout there from Matt Poole.
A massive one for Poole, his 5th of the season. And now we'll put the second out on board. Going to see number 33, D. Oliver, come up. Oliver came in as a defensive specialist earlier in this game, moved out to center field, and his misjudgment on a line ball out into center field off the bat, a pinch hitter Moffitt, allowed the Trojans to eventually come back and get 2 runs. So we'll see if he can kind of negate that situation with a chance with the runner in scoring position.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he was going to catch that ball no matter how it was. It was 109 off the bat. It was getting over his head no matter what. He's going to kick himself that he probably could have limited maybe to a double. But Garrett Moffitt also is an extremely fast player. So it's one of those situations where, you know, he was clearly eating himself up on it, because, I mean, if he would have snagged that, I mean, could have ripped his glove off possibly how hard that one was hit. But he did a great job. They did a great job, you know, ultimately recovering from it. He's not going to feel too bad right now that they're in a 1-run lead. But he knows that he can make a bigger impact by giving them a 2-run lead if he can deliver a hit here.
0-2 offering, foul down right field line. So prime position to get another out here is Matt Poole. Still a runner in scoring position, so Poole dealing up the stretch. Big at bat here. D. Oliver, the 0-2 count against him, swings through it. Big strikeout for Matt Poole. 1 run does come in to score, though, courtesy of a triple off the bat of Jesus Cruz, and then a single up the middle for Wolin, his 3rd RBI of the day. We will go to break. The Mount Olive time here, Alex King. Alex, I mean, what an atmosphere here at the University of Mount Olive, getting ready for pretty much everything of these fans, because I'm not sure what else we can see that we haven't.
Yeah, it's still really full out here, honestly. I think everybody's on the edge of their seats. We can just wipe the score and put it at 0-0. We're heading into the 10th inning at a 7-7 ball game now. That has just been the biggest roller coaster ride you could ever ask for in terms of calls and everything. And, you know, I think the umpires are kind of hoping this thing ends too, because they don't want to be part of any more calls that they'd have to be, because I could just see this thing taking a whole nother turn in the other direction, man.
It's been a game of scrutiny for the home official, as well as the second base umpire and third base umpire. It's been a busy day all the way around. A great series on hand that has taken a bitter swing, if you say, in the third game here in this 3-game series. But important thing is both these teams, their offense has shined bright, as we are 7 apiece here for the start of the 10th inning. And, of course, no runner in scoring position here, Division II level of NCAA in extra innings. So we'll have to earn one the hard way, as now we'll have a strike on the outside half for strike number 1.
Yeah, everybody can get called in at this point, as the arms are going to have to stay fresh depending on what this game has in store. It'd just be nice for the Trojans to get to the bottom half with a tie game.
This ball hit over to short, grounded. McLean on a beat, on the strike zone for another amazing put out. He is as calm as it comes for the first out here in the 10th.
Carter Gibson over there, warming up. So he's just keeping an arm fresh just in case. Obviously, we've seen down at Emanuelle's side, there's been 2 guys going for quite some time. You got to assume Richardson's day's done. He's really given them all he can in those 2 innings. We're going to see a pinch hitter coming up here. Drew Knight, the infielder, right, number 13 from Odessa, Florida. He steps up, the 6'3", 220 junior.
Drew Knight from Odessa, Florida. His toes right on the line here, playing really close to the plate. He will take a first pitch strike on the outer half. Poole's come in. He has 2 strikeouts against him, 1 earned run on 2 hits, but he's dealing well here. He's ahead of the count again. Can he have a clean 10th inning of play? And he'll miss inside.
That one touching 90 on the inside there, so ramping it up. 177 on the first, up to 90 on the next. So having a good repertoire to deal with.
1-1 offering outside.
Dobbs Bowden in the on-deck circle. So sticking with him in the ball game. He's in right field after starting in center.
Bobby fouled off from Knight. Knight, 240 on the season. He has started 9 games of the 12 he's been in, now his 13th appearance, but hasn't played at all this weekend. First little bit of action we've seen from him. He has 1 home run, 6 RBIs, so dangerous bat at the plate.
Someone they're turning to in this moment, as they know the pressure's on. This one driven.
And it's going to
comfortably to Caden Crawford there. I always trust any ball to the outfield if we got a play on it to make it, and he almost ran too far in on it. That would have been, tough look, but he calmed down, hauled it in there. 2 outs there for Matt Poole. He seems like he's settling into the game nicely. Trojans looking to get out of a clean 10th inning. Now facing Dobbs Bowden.
Yeah, I was kind of afraid there for a second Crawford was going to do what D. Oliver did on the side of the line, coming a little too close. As those line drives right at you, difficult to deal with as a pitch on the outside half, going to be a strike for Poole.
Yeah, Bowden with a big performance in this game so far, Michael. He's 2 for 4 in the ball game with 3 RBIs. So one of the big reasons this Emmanuel team is in this game is due to the efforts of Dobbs Bowden.
Dobbs Bowden, well, he's one of the best hitters on this entire team. Looking at the numbers, a little surprised he's down in that 8 hole. I mean, he's top 4 on the team in batting average. He has done a really good job of getting on base and bringing in runs. So looks like head coach Gilgore likes where he's at. Is this pitch going to miss down and away? And also have to give credit here to the freshman catcher, to Petty. Still looking pretty good there behind home plate.
Yeah, I mean, called into a big spot. His day's got to really continue as long as this game continues, because he's really the only other option they have. So expect him to probably take to the plate, too, at some point in this game as the Trojans, Mac James is officially done after being subbed out. And then on top of that, Mike Kenny's in the DH spot. So I guess they, like I said, they ultimately could delete the DH spot if they want to. But clearly that's not in Rob's plan at the moment, and it's all going to be dependent on situation. If Petty comes up and maybe they want someone else at the plate, they might make that change at that moment, but we'll deal with that as it comes.
3-1, hit over to short, grounded, thrown to first, snagged from Moffitt, and we will go to the bottom half of the 10th. The Trojans a chance to walk it off. That's how they'll have to take if they want the win here to sweep the Emanuelle Lions. The biggest one of all, Mike Kenny, a solo bomb in the bottom of the 9th. 2 strikes against him, battled off, took 9 pitches, and was able to hit a solo home run to left field, eventually bringing us to where we are now.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty special to get that hit there in that moment for Mike Kenny, and to deliver as a senior. Did a great job there, hitting one. Drew Knight stays in the game. He just came in and pinch hit. He's got to play third base, and we're going to see a change on the mound there as number 15, Barrett Barkley, comes into the game, the senior, 6'2", 220 from Macon, Georgia. He's a transfer from a D1 at USC Upstate. So, an experienced arm. We saw him warming up in the previous game. So his arm's been fresh for some time now. As pretty much, if you're in this game now, everybody's at their exposure. You got to find a way to throw somebody if you have to. Everybody's got to get ready for a moment. It seems like Rob Watt's ready to turn to Carter Gibson if needed to. But he's hopeful that in the bottom half of the 10th here that Garrett Moffitt and the Trojans can lead him to victory.
Barkley has an 18.9 ERA. This is his 7th appearance out of the bullpen in 3 1/3 innings worked. So he's been hit around a bit. 3 hits only, but he has suffered 7 earned runs, and he has walked 9 batters. So for Mount Olive, I mean, numbers saying that this might not be the strongest pitcher, but in a game like this, all that goes out the window. It is 1 versus 1, mano-y-mano, 1-1 count. Moffitt back up to the plate.
Yeah, and the Petty on the on-deck circle, so he'll get in that bat here more than likely. As I said, you just can't really suffer the lineup. Snared down the line there by Moffitt, and it is well foul. But like you said, with this batter, a lot of walks. You kind of gotta let the count play out as it may and see how it goes, but stay aggressive too, because he knows his struggles this season, and just because the numbers, don't necessarily tell the whole story of how he's been this year, the Trojans still got to make that happen for themselves.
1-2, hit into left field. It has a chance to go. The wind's taking it. It's gone. A walk-off home run to opposite field. Moffitt with the Mount Olive Trojans' second walk-off and a 3-game series sweep of the Emanuelle Lions to opposite field. Alex, what a win.
What an opposite field hit by Garrett Moffitt. The Trojans walk it off. Jeff Kilgore is incensed. He's out on the field. The third base umpire followed it all the way down the line, and he called it fair. This game has had every single bit of it. Garrett Moffitt, what a day for him. The doubles, the hits, everything. Great job by Garrett Moffitt. This game's over. There's discussion going on. Jackson Massey's now having a little bit of a discussion too. It is a fiery day out here. Jackson Massey giving it to Chalk, who's had a tough day. This has been a rough one all day long, and he's probably just venting his frustration like we have most of this game.
For sure.
And I mean, I don't believe we'll ever see Nick Chalk back here at Scarborough Field, but nonetheless, what a win for the Trojans. A walk-off solo homer.
Well, the players aren't leaving the field here from the Emanuelle Lions. I saw the home plate umpire call across the second umpire to come over and have a talk. Well, the thing is, with that being said, it looks like they have confirmed the call on the field, still waiting for final thing. But with a lefty at the plate, it would almost be impossible for that ball to be foul with the trajectory you saw where it bended around the pole. And, I mean, we're going to have the final call. It is a home run, and the Mount Olive Trojans have swept the Emanuelle Lions. And this one will go down the history books as maybe the most controversial series in recent years at the University of Mount Olive.
I mean, it is one of the most shocking games I've ever watched in my life. And I hate it for both sides that it really came down to, once again, the left field line in Game 3.
Matthew Motors.
This will be known as the left field line Emanuelle versus Mount Olive game.
Comes in Conference Carolinas at the moment, continuing to win. They are now on the season 7-2 in conference play, 13-5 overall. Emanuelle Lions will move to 8-11, 2-7 in conference play. But looking at the numbers, Mount Olive Trojans were up 3-0 after a 3-run shot into left field that ended up being fair. Looked like it was, but there was some controversy called back before officially getting called. And then the Trojans added on another as the Trojans celebrating out in left field, and understandably so. But then 6 runs in the 7th inning came across for the Emanuelle Lions. Again, some more controversy down the third base line, which was just all over the place today. And then the Trojans got 2 more in the 8th to tie it up. 1 run the top of the 9th from the Emanuelle Lions. They thought they had it before a solo home run from Mike Kenny brought this game to extra innings, where the Mount Olive Trojans see an opposite field home run off the bat of Moffitt, who picks up not just a triple, but the game-winning walk-off solo home run, Alex.
What a game, Michael.